The Big Ten just got shocking news. Let's talk about it. My name is Aaron.
And I'm Paul.
And we are the Big Ten guys on the daily, pushing out Big Ten content for people just like you who can't get enough Big Ten news, insights, analysis, rumors, whatever the heck it might be. We're talking about it here. Paul, tell them what they got to do.
Just take a quick second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and get those alerts on. We got a lot more Big Ten content coming.
Now, one big thing that is being talked about right now when it comes to college football is the coaches poll. Now, we're going to throw it up here. Notice number 5, you cannot see. It's Notre Dame. I'm assuming I hate Notre Dame.
Screw you, Notre Dame. We don't want to look at you.
We don't want to look at you. So, listen, we're all Big Ten fans here. We asked Notre Dame to join the Big Ten multiple times, and they just gave us the cold shoulder or a couple fingers. I'm not really sure which. But anyways, that's why we covered ourselves up or covered them up with us.
Join a conference and you can be on our poll.
Yeah. That's right. We'll let it, if you join our conference, which now at this point it's probably a little too late, then maybe we'll show your logo. Anyways, here's the coaches poll. Just a couple breakdowns when we really look at it. There are 6 Big Ten teams. Ohio State 2, Penn State 3. Then you got Oregon at 7. That is the top 10. Only 3 teams in the top 10. Then you have Illinois 12, Michigan 14, Indiana 19. Now, first look, in my eyes, is, and shocking to me, and I think to a lot of fans, is the fact that Texas is number 1 and Penn State is not number 1. Now, Ohio State fans, I don't want you to get upset when I say that. Listen, Ohio State, yes, they won the national championship last year, but we can all agree, too, they lost a lot of players. I would even argue you could have Ohio State ahead of Texas on this because Texas only returns 3 starters on offense, I believe 4 or 5 on defense. And everyone is incredible. They are drinking the juice. They are drinking the Kool-Aid for Arch Manning. This is all I have to say about Arch Manning. And then Paul's going to he's going to kick me off my soapbox so he can finally say something. But if Arch Manning was so good, wouldn't he played like Quinn Ewers? His draft stock this past year didn't help him greatly. Before this year, a lot of people are like, he has the potential to be a first-round draft pick, and I believe we talked about that in one of the Ohio State videos. But he had that potential. If Arch Manning was truly that special, wouldn't have he started last year over Quinn Ewers? My answer is, yeah, I think he would have. Paul, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. There's very few times in recent memory has a truly elite QB not started until their junior year. You just don't see it as much anymore. 15 years ago, yes, that was pretty common. But I'm with you. I think if Arch truly was the next Peyton or whoever else they want to compare him to, I think he would have, if not started at the beginning of last year, I think he would have taken Ewers' job at some point. Because
I agree.
As you said, Ewers just kind of, his draft stock kept getting lower and lower throughout the year. Really didn't have that incredible of a season.
No.
But yeah, I'm with you. To me, there's 2 things you can do here. You can say we're going to go mostly off of last year and have Ohio State still be number 1 because they're the defending champ.
Right.
Or we're going to look at who are you bringing back, which one of your top guys are coming back. And I think if that's the case, it should be Penn State number 1, not Texas. Yeah. Texas is like the worst of both of those worlds where they lost in the semifinals, same as Penn State, but they're not bringing anybody back. Penn State, as we've talked about in some of our Penn State videos, they're bringing back Aller, they're bringing back Singleton and Allen and a bunch of their offensive line and a lot of their defense, brought in some great guys in the transfer portal.
Specifically at wide receiver.
Yeah. And I think the only team in the top 20 who is close to bringing as much back is Illinois.
Yeah.
And maybe you could argue Clemson's bringing quite a bit back too. But to me, Penn State should be number 1.
Yeah. So first shocking thing right there, Penn State not number 1. And even Texas being in front of Ohio State. Ohio State, a team that we could all agree they lost a lot. But 2, they still have a lot of great players on that team. And I would argue better than Texas. Again, I think that, and you're probably saying to yourself, Aaron, this is the coaches poll. Let's be real. interns are probably the ones that fill out these polls, right, Paul? Would you? But
Yeah.
and so do we really think that all coaches concern themselves with this poll? Probably not. They probably don't waste their time. And so, people are probably told what to do. But again, Texas, let's also feed the narrative too. Who plays week 1? August 30th is Texas, Ohio State. What do they want? They want a 1-2 matchup. We're not idiots.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, it's frustrating to see when you see other teams that are like, hey, they are worthy of this spot, and people are just like, kind of based on my subjective opinion, Arch Manning, blah blah blah. We're going to put them in number 1. And you might argue too, well, Aaron, you thinking Penn State number 1 is subjective as well. It's like, well, sure, but I have a lot to back it up. And I think that is a great argument as well. So first, that's one of the most shocking things right there is the fact that you have Texas number 1 in front of Ohio State and Penn State. Paul, what's something else you see on this list that shocks you?
I'm pretty surprised about where Indiana is. And they're used to getting disrespected, and personally I think they love the disrespect and they love having this chip on their shoulder. But they were a playoff team. They did lose quite a few guys, including their quarterback, but they're bringing in a quarterback that a lot of people think is going to be even better and help them take that next step. I think to put a team that made the playoffs last year all the way down at 19 is pretty disrespectful. And I'll even say, as a Michigan fan, is there a chance Michigan's better than Indiana this year? For sure. Bryce Underwood's got such a high ceiling, should have a great defense. I like what they brought in the transfer portal. But Indiana beat Michigan last year. Indiana's returning just as much as Michigan is.
And bringing a veteran
quarterback. A more proven
in
quarterback.
Mendoza.
Yeah.
So
I think if we're being honest with ourselves, Michigan is above Indiana because their name is Michigan and Indiana's name is Indiana.
Yeah, 100%. Same with Tennessee. Tennessee, you look at 18, they lose Nico to UCLA. Don't need to get into that whole thing. But they also lost a ton of players and got absolutely, if we're talking about last year, got absolutely pantsed by Ohio State last year. And so, again, Tennessee fans like to think they're like blue bloods, elites, all of this stuff. Don't really want to get into it. But again, I would say they're ranked. It's disrespectful that they're in front of Indiana. Florida kind of confuses me as well in
they
that
went
spot.
8-5 last year.
Right, 8-5 last year. But again, you look at a lot of these teams and you're like, I get it. How long have the likes of ESPN and different sports media, they're trying to hey, Texas is back, they're coming back, or even USC after their glory days in the early 2000s. They desired them to be back, and they would rank them high in these preseason polls. And then you're just like, yeah, they're not. But Indiana, they're ranked in this poll, which is great. But again, I do like for them the chip on their shoulder mentality, and I think that's going to be great. So again, Signasty, how I like to call him, he's going to thrive off it. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
I think another thing that bothers me, and we kind of touched on the SEC a little bit of it, but 9 teams, are you kidding me?
It's a lot of teams.
It's just setting the stage for this typical nonsense where, I'm not going to pull up their schedules right now, but I guarantee you out of Tennessee, Florida, A&M, Ole Miss, probably a few of them have a schedule where they're playing Alabama State and the Citadel and just a bunch of nonsense. And they're going to cruise to a 6-0 record despite playing nobody. And then as they get pummeled by the actual good SEC teams, now all of a sudden all the losses are good losses and all the wins are good wins. And the entire SEC is propped up, even though some of these teams really aren't that good.
Right. And then we get back to the whole Signetti thing, how he talked about, if we're going to have a conversation, listen, the Big Ten plays 9 conference games where the SEC plays 8, and then they typically play an FCS team or a trash team the second week of November. So it's like, okay, what are we... there needs to be rules set in place where it's, especially for these group of 4 conferences, where it says, all right, we're going to be on the as much as possible on the same playing field when it comes to scheduling stuff. I don't think it's asking much. But I get why the SEC does it, because that should be for the most part, 3-4 easy wins for them. And then, like you said, Paul, it makes them look better. Comment below. Looking at this, what are your thoughts? I would tell you Miami's too high too. A lot of people high on Carson Beck. He just said the other day that Kirby Smart wanted him to come back to Georgia. Who the heck knows? But he got paid a boatload at Miami. Cade Klubnik in Clemson. I actually thought they would have been top 5. It kind of surprises me. I think you see a big drop off right behind me right here. Notre Dame. I think they drop off quite a bit. Let's not forget they lost to Northern Illinois last year.
That's right. The
Never
Huskies.
forget. Just got to say it. Now, the next thing we want to look at, and I think it's just as important, is the others receiving votes. So highlighted right here, you see 5 other Big Ten teams: USC, Iowa, Nebraska, Washington, and Minnesota. 4 of the 5 teams we have talked about on this channel, and we will tell you that we are pretty high on. We haven't talked much about Minnesota, but we are pretty high on the likes of Iowa, Nebraska, and we've even said USC and Washington both have a lot of potential. What's frustrating with this is you have Oklahoma, the highest, or the team with the most votes received that isn't ranked. So you want to throw out 26 right there. They literally went 6-7 last year. Brett Venables, I think he's a coordinator, not a coach. I know some people find that disrespectful when you say stuff like that, but I thought it was a downgrade when we said this the other day, when Lincoln Riley left and they got him. I don't think it works. But again, this looks good for the Big Ten, and it's one of those things where they can look at it and see, hey, we deserve to be ranked, and they're just going to fight their way through it, improve themselves. And especially Iowa too. If Iowa, week 1 they play Albany. They should dominate that game. But somehow, some way, it's possible, and AP polls haven't got out yet either, that Iowa State is a ranked game in that week 2 for Iowa.
Definitely could be.
So,
but yeah, I think it's some pretty big disrespect to Iowa here too. Like you look at, as Aaron mentioned, Oklahoma 6-7 last year. Personally, I think they were trying to make Michigan, Oklahoma, who play week 2, a ranked matchup.
Yep.
But like some people are a little higher on Oklahoma this year because they brought in a good transfer QB, but so did Iowa. We've talked quite a bit about Gronowski on this channel. We're very high on him.
Big Gronowski fans.
Yeah. But Iowa, what were they? 8-5 last year.
8-5 last year.
Bringing back quite a few guys. Oklahoma at 6-7. Both teams bring in a good QB. Why are they so much higher than
And
Iowa?
let's remember Iowa last year, not as bad as Michigan, but their quarterback play was not ideal. Good. So you elevate that. I don't know. It blows my mind. And again, we could be proven wrong, but a lot of things point to Iowa doing well this year, as well as Nebraska. And Washington, sneaky with Williams at quarterback. If you watched him finish out the year last year, he was good. He was really good. So I think a lot of people are going to be surprised with the success of some of these Big Ten teams that have the potential to break out, and I think will break out.
Yeah, and then if you've caught any of our videos, you know we are high on Nebraska. They have a pretty nice schedule the way it plays out, and we're not just high because of their schedule. We think they're going to be much improved this year. I don't think it's going to be long before you start seeing them in the polls.
Yeah.
They're already not that far away, and they got the guys to get there.
Yep, and they have a great week 1 game against Cincinnati in Kansas City, and I think that'll be a good game, but don't sleep on them. Do not sleep on them. So anyways, comment below anything about the coaches poll that you saw, maybe we didn't talk about, point out, whatever. Comment below, would love to hear it. Maybe you think a team should be ranked higher, lower. What are your thoughts, Big Ten Nation? Comment below. Paul, you got anything else?
Just take a second on your way out. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. We got a lot more Big Ten content coming.
Peace.
See ya.